In 2022, Tinubu stood in Abeokuta and said something that felt like just campaign talk at the time. Emi Lokan, it is my turn.
AD, AC, ACN, Agbedori APC. Oh my sorry. Shame by it. This is me telling you between my life and God Almighty. Buhari ni kí n wá ṣe igbákejì o. Ẹni àti ìdí ibẹ̀ yẹn kó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ká tó ẹgbẹ́ yìí tán. Ọ̀rọ̀ ọjọ́ orí kọ́ tó bá jẹ́ tìwé ni. Mo kàwé o. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ìjọba àgbáyé èmi lẹ́gbọ̀n. Kí n sì yí bọ̀. Ọjọ́ ti pẹ́. Ẹgbẹ́ kìíní wa Emi Lokan.
That was 2022, Emi Lokan, it is my turn. Back then, everybody understood it one way. It's time to become president, nothing more. Now, in 2026, two serious voices, a professor of law and a former attorney general of this country, are both saying that phrase meant something much bigger. And when you actually look at what has happened since, it is hard to dismiss them completely. Let's start with the states. Out of 36 states in this country, over 30 governors are now either directly in APC or working closely with the presidency. Think about what that actually means. Imagine a classroom of 36 students and one student becomes so influential that 30 of his classmates start doing exactly what he says, agreeing with everything he suggests and never once challenging him in front of the teacher. At that point, it doesn't matter if there's technically still a vote in that classroom. That one student is already running the room. That's what 30 out of 36 governors aligning with one man's political direction actually looks like. It is not one or two states cooperating. It is almost the entire country's state leadership moving in one direction. Now let's talk about the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives. I mean, this is supposed to be the branch of government that checks the president. That's literally their constitutional job, to question, to debate, to sometimes say no. But right now, according to many observers, almost anything Bola Ahmed Tinubu sends to the National Assembly gets approved. Bills move fast, budgets pass with little friction. There is barely any public resistance from the lawmakers who are supposed to represent the people who elected them. Now, picture a company where the board of directors is supposed to challenge the CEO's decisions, ask hard questions, sometimes vote no. Now, picture that same board approving everything the CEO wants every single time without pushback. At that point, you have to ask, is this still oversight or is it just a rubber stamp? This next part is more sensitive and I want to be very careful here because some of this is allegation, not proven facts. Some Nigerians have raised concerns about the judiciary's independence under this administration. And then there is INEC, the body that is supposed to run elections without bias. Professor Josh Amopiton, the current INEC boss, once trended online over comments suggesting APC sympathies. He has denied being an APC man. But to be clear, denial matters and there is no official proof that INEC or the judiciary are compromised. But when people already believe the states are aligned and the National Assembly is aligned, even a rumor about the umpire and the courts add fuel to fire that is already burning. That's just it. Now let's connect this back to where we started. Professor Odinkalu said this isn't about completing two terms quietly.
I do recognize that President Tinubu is not President Jonathan. His infrastructure of and his values of his political values are different. Let me put it that way. And so the standard and the challenge of turning him over is a lot steeper, a heck of a lot steeper. And I don't think it's going to be easy by any chance for anybody trying to do that. Let me be quite clear. That infrastructure includes a lot of organized crime. Whether it's happening with his direct instruction or not is not relevant for my purpose. But there are lots of people doing lots of things there in that infrastructure of power who should not be in active circulation, civilized circulation, but they are. And that's really what it is. So that means there is a higher bar. And that is why I said, I think in the course of this conversation, I've said, and I think you're also of the same view, that the opposition are not doing half enough to create the level of worry. Because ultimately, any administration or regime that loses power, it ultimately votes itself out. And the only way you can get them to be in that position is to put them under such pressure. They begin to amass unforced political errors. At this time, I do not believe that the Tinubu dispensation is under enough political pressure to amass the kind of debt or deficit of political pressure required to put them at risk of losing power. Can that change? The time is running short. I do not think it cannot change at this time, but we've got a very narrow window in which.
So if I hear you, we may just witness a coronation next year in January.
That's quite possible. Yes. But as I said, let me repeat myself. There'll be a third time.
Wow. So even beyond the coronation, we should just prepare for the long haul.
Because a lot of politicians are thinking, oh, well, let's wait for 2031. President Tinubu has not done all of this.
Just for 4 years.
Just for
additional
another 4 years. There will be a third term. And anybody who is doing it is not our portion on that, is not reading the evidence.
And Babachir Lawal, former Attorney General under Buhari, said something even more direct.
I know my man now. We used to be together. And surprisingly, I know quite a lot of the things they do to win election, We used to operate together. My thinking now is this. The result for the 2023 election is already written. 2027 election is already written.
Wow.
All that is required is for the processes to exhaust themselves.
So it's script being written towards
why are you talking of script? It's not the script. Script is still theoretical now, as it has been written. Wow. The script was written 3 years ago, so it is now, the result is there, or the methodology is there, and two things. Why do you think he purchased the opposition governors? Because first of all, that has denied the opposition access to funds. All the state governors are now with him. So no opposition has access to funds to compete against him. Number two, the governors, because of the support they have from him, has encouraged them to be very cavalier in the manner in which they are spending state resources.
They administer their states, I don't know.
Yeah, so now it's in their interest to make sure
they deliver.
They deliver, and they not for themselves, because opposition will come and so they will work hard. They will do what they did in 2023, which our friend Nasser Rufai claimed they did for him. They will do the same thing. By crook, they will all deliver. They will write the results. They will allow you to go to the polling unit and pretend, and the INEC will do some oju and announce the result that has already been handed over to them, I think, and that's the end. And now the problem would be the reaction of the people to that. And my own assessment is that every Nigerian will just remain in his house, no trouble.
The candidates will go to the courts.
The candidate will go to their courts, and the sons will collect billions of naira and impoverish them further, and then that's the end.
Are you afraid that President Tinubu, as it's been alleged by some, that he may go the route of tenure elongation, third term?
Bola Tinubu will go third term. If God gives him the long life to do it, he will.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, he will. What will stop him now? Blind Nigerians or a blind National Assembly of crooks? Bola Tinubu will go third term.
Bola Tinubu will go third term if God gives him the long life to do it. What will stop him? Blind Nigerians or blind National Assembly of crooks? In short, he's not asking if Tinubu wants it. He's asking who is left standing that could actually stop it. And when you line up the states, the National Assembly, and the questions around INEC and the judiciary, you start to see why he's asking that question with such confidence. Now, to be fair and balanced, Nigeria's constitution currently limits a president to 2 elected terms. That has not changed. There's no bill, no court filing, no official process announced anywhere that says a third term is happening. Everything we have discussed so far is pattern and warning, not proof. But patterns matter, and when the people warning you are not random social commentators, but a law professor and a former attorney general, that pattern deserves your attention. Here's my honest question for you. When you look at 30 states aligned, a National Assembly that rarely says no, and real questions being asked about INEC and the judiciary, do you think Emi Lokan was always bigger than just 2023? Or do you think Odinkalu and Babachir are reading too much into a slogan that already did its job? Do well to drop your honest take below. I want to know what you actually believe. So that's the full picture. A phrase from 2022, 30 states aligned, a National Assembly that barely pushes back, real questions about INEC and the judiciary, and 2 serious men saying the door to a third term isn't closed. No official proof it's happening, but a pattern that is hard to ignore. Which brings us to the real question for 2027. If the states are aligned, the National Assembly rarely says no, and even the umpire is facing questions. Can the opposition actually stop this? Because right now, there's no single united front strong enough to challenge that level of alignment. Just individual voices raising an arm without one coordinated plan to match it. That is the honest breakdown, no bias, just the facts and the warnings on the table. If this helped you see the bigger picture, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss my next video. I do this daily, and do well to like and share this video. Let's keep everyone informed.